back to Shades of Green on KDWN 720 AM in Las Vegas. Our show is produced by Green Alliance, and I'm your host, Paul Ira. We have Chris Brooks on the line here, and we're talking legislation, and there's some pretty exciting bills that have been passed, a couple that are still pending approval. Chris, let's get back and finish up on 405 and move to 452.
Well, thanks a lot. So we were discussing 405 and some of the things it did besides restoring the rooftop solar industry back in Nevada. It provided contractual language on what should be on your contract and some remedies if there are companies out there doing bad things and taking advantage of consumers. And so that we thought that was incredibly important and missing from this industry for a long time. As a long-time industry participant and somebody who's had a solar company over the years and things like that, I always thought that was missing. So we're glad we got that in there. And then Assembly Bill 452, it creates in the Legislative Committee on Energy, which is the interim committee that meets between sessions, it gives that committee the task of researching and coming up with recommendations on energy choice. As many of you may know, there was question 3 on the ballot last election that wanted to put into place a constitutional amendment that would give Nevadans retail energy choice. Well, the governor has created a committee to investigate that, and I'm honored to be on that committee. And then the Legislative Committee on Energy, which already exists, we passed a law that I introduced through the Commerce and Labor Committee that would make that committee look at that issue as well, so that we can come up with recommendations for the legislature. That was Assembly Bill 452. And then the last bill that I sponsored on energy was Assembly Joint Resolution 10, which reaffirmed Nevada's opposition to the storage of high-level nuclear waste at Yucca Mountain. We think that it should be a consent-based approach. We're the only state in the country that has no choice in the matter. Every other state in the United States has, by law, gets to accept to consent to store high-level nuclear waste. We think that's wrong. It had bipartisan support from the governor, from the attorney general, from all the leaders of the Republican and Democratic caucuses in the legislature, and it passed with broad bipartisan support. So that one is passed. The Energy Choice Committee one is passed. It's signed by the governor. 405 should be signed by the governor this week, I'm being told. But 206, we need some help if you support that bill, getting the governor to sign that. So there's a few more I'll go through quickly. Assembly Bill 223 by freshman William McCurdy from Las Vegas. It's an energy efficiency for low income bill. I thought it was a really important bill. I was glad to see that one get passed and signed by the governor.
That's 223?
Yes, sir.
And that is passed.
223. Yes, okay. It passed and was signed by the governor. There's Assembly Bill 5, which was passed and signed by the governor. That was sponsored by the governor's office, and it's a PACE bill. PACE is property assessed clean energy financing. It's something that we've tried to get done for many years in the legislature, and this year we were able to pass it. It's just one more tool to help with financing of renewable energy and energy efficiency projects.
Which bill was that again? Excuse me.
That is Assembly Bill 5.
AB 5, okay, that's what that was.
And then there was a handful of Senate bills. Senate Bill 65, which was sponsored by Senator Pat Spearman. It modifies the way that we do the integrated resource planning so that it incorporates looking at renewable energy in different ways in our resources moving forward. And so that one was passed and signed by the governor. And then you have Senate Bill 145, also by Senator Pat Spearman, Now that one, it repurposes some of the money that was in the renewable generations rebate program and puts it into electric vehicle infrastructure so that you can get rebates and possibly some help in installing the charging equipment for electric vehicles. That one was passed also and signed by the governor. There's Senate Bill 146, which was also sponsored by Senator Spearman, and that has some other integrated resource planning reforms in it as well. And that one is passed but waiting signature by the governor. You have Senate Bill 150, which was sponsored by Senator Spearman as well. And that one, it has some energy efficiency guidelines in it for utilities, and that expands the energy efficiency programs available. That one was passed and is awaiting a signature by the governor. And then you have Senate Bill 204, which was sponsored by Senator Kelvin Atkinson of Las Vegas, and that has some energy storage procurement targets, mainly batteries, procurement targets for the utilities that it lays out a cost test methodology and has some targets that we'd like to see the state hit. That one was passed and signed by the governor. The last bill I want to talk about is Senate Bill 392. Senate Bill 392 was sponsored by Senator Mo Dennis from Las Vegas, and that is the community solar bill. That one passed and is waiting for a signature by the governor. That one had broad support from community groups. It had opposition from NV Energy, but that bill would allow low-income people and Nevadans who are renting their homes and want to be involved in the clean energy economy, want to invest in and get the benefits and savings of renewable energy, but don't have the proper home to put it on, don't have are renting possibly, live in multi-family homes, live in a mobile home, or are low income and just don't have the credit score that can get them into a lease, or don't have the capital to buy a system. This program would allow those Nevadans to get together and invest in a large-scale solar project right there in their community, and then it would be as if the solar was on their roof, but it would be in a solar field where they would actually invest in and have ownership in, or get the benefits of, the panels that they would need to have on their roof, but out in a solar field with their neighbors. So it's a very innovative model called community solar, and it has a tremendous amount of support from faith-based organizations, community advocacy groups, and low-income consumer protection groups. And so that one is we're starting to see that take place around the country. I know Valley Electric has a 15 megawatt community solar project using a similar model out in Pahrump. And what this would do is this would extend this to all the customers of NV Energy. And so that's one to watch. That's Senate Bill 392.
Hey, Chris, we're going to take a break and come right back and cover the rest of these bills. That's exciting information, and thank you for being on Shades of Green on KDWN. We'll be right back.